Every single second, over 2.4 million M&Ms roll off production lines around the world. Let that sink in. That's 400 million colorful candies produced every single day. Enough to circle the entire Earth twice if you line them up edge to edge in the time it takes you to read this sentence. Another 50,000 M&Ms have already been made. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine that satisfying crunch when you bite through that iconic candy shell. Feel it shatter between your teeth, releasing the smooth, creamy chocolate inside. That thin, colorful coating that melts in your mouth but never in your hand. It's not magic. It's science perfected over 8 decades of innovation. The story begins in 1941. During the chaos of World War II, Forrest Mars Sr. observed soldiers eating British Smarties, chocolate pellets with a hard candy shell that could survive the brutal heat of tropical battlefields without melting into a sticky disaster. He brought that concept back to America, partnered with Bruce Murray, and together they created M&Ms. The name itself comes from their initials, Mars and Murray. Those wartime treats designed to give soldiers a taste of home without the mess have evolved into the world's best-selling candy. Today, M&Ms are consumed in over 100 countries. Factories span from New Jersey to the Netherlands, from Australia to China. But how exactly does a cocoa bean from a tropical rainforest become that perfectly round, colorfully coated piece of happiness in your hand? Come along as we uncover the incredible journey these tiny treats take, from cocoa farms thousands of miles away to the candy bowl sitting on your coffee table. The story of every M&M begins not in a gleaming factory, but deep in the humid tropical rainforests of West Africa, Ghana, the Ivory Coast, Indonesia. These regions supply the precious cocoa beans that form the heart of each candy. They produce over 70% of the world's cocoa. And Mars sources their beans from carefully selected farms committed to sustainable practices. Cocoa trees are remarkably finicky. They thrive only within 20 degrees of the equator, where temperatures hover between 70 and 90 degrees Fahrenheit year-round. Too hot and the trees wither, too cold and they refuse to fruit. Each mature tree produces around 30 football-shaped pods annually, hanging directly from the trunk like strange, oversized ornaments. Here's a number that might surprise you. It takes approximately 400 cocoa beans, the yield of about 20 pods, to make just 1 pound of chocolate. When you consider that a single M&M weighs less than a gram, you begin to appreciate the sheer scale of production required to satisfy the world's appetite for these candies. Skilled farmers harvest the pods by hand. Wielding sharp machetes with practiced precision, they crack open each pod to reveal the treasure inside. 30 to 50 beans nestled in sweet, tangy white pulp that tastes nothing like chocolate. At this stage, the beans are pale bitter and completely unrecognizable as the foundation of your favorite treat. The transformation begins with fermentation. Workers pile the beans under banana leaves and leave them for 5 to 7 days. During this crucial period, the pulp breaks down. Temperatures rise to 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Complex chemical reactions develop the flavor compounds that distinguish fine chocolate from bitter, astringent cocoa. Skip this step, and you'll never achieve that rich, nuanced taste. Following fermentation, the beans are spread on raised wooden platforms to dry under the equatorial sun for approximately 2 weeks. Workers rake and turn them daily, ensuring even drying until the moisture content drops below 7%. Only then are the beans bagged, loaded onto ships, and sent on their journey to chocolate factories around the world. At the Mars Chocolate Factory, the real magic unfolds. Raw cocoa beans arrive looking nothing like chocolate. They're pale brown, slightly shriveled, unremarkable. Within days, they'll become the silky smooth centers of millions of M&Ms. The beans first enter massive industrial rotating drums, double-walled vessels heated to temperatures between 250 and 350 degrees Fahrenheit. For 20 to 40 minutes, they tumble and toast, and something extraordinary happens. Over 600 distinct flavor compounds develop during roasting, creating those deep, rich, nutty notes that make chocolate irresistible. The beans darken to a deep mahogany brown. Their signature aroma fills the air. If you've ever walked past a chocolate factory, you know this smell. It's intoxicating, warm, capable of making you hungry from a quarter mile away. The roasted beans tumble into a winnowing machine where powerful steel rollers crack them open. A series of vibrating grates and precisely calibrated air jets separate the precious nibs from the worthless shells. These cocoa nibs, small crunchy fragments about the size of gravel, are pure chocolate essence. They contain approximately 54% cocoa butter. The shells aren't wasted. They're often sold for garden mulch or processed into cocoa butter for cosmetics. Nothing goes to waste in a modern chocolate factory. Next comes grinding, the process that transforms crunchy nibs into flowing chocolate. The nibs pass through a series of steel or stone mills that crush them with tremendous force. The friction generates intense heat, sometimes reaching 150 degrees Fahrenheit, which melts the cocoa butter naturally present in the nibs. The result is a thick, pourable paste called chocolate liquor. Despite its name, chocolate liquor contains absolutely no alcohol. It's simply the technical term for this pure, unsweetened chocolate paste. But taste it now and you'd spit it out. It's intensely bitter, gritty, far from the smooth treat you know. To achieve that velvety M&M's texture, the chocolate undergoes refining. Massive steel rollers crush particles down to approximately 20 microns, smaller than the diameter of a human hair. Your tongue can detect particles larger than 25 microns as gritty or sandy.
The threshold is
Below that threshold,
microns.
Chocolate feels impossibly smooth. This precision is why M&M's chocolate melts seamlessly across your palate. Here's where patience becomes the secret ingredient. The refined chocolate enters massive conch machines, large vessels equipped with heavy rollers that continuously stir, aerate, and heat the chocolate. This process runs for 24 to 72 hours. Yes, up to 3 full days of constant motion. During conching, volatile acids evaporate into the air, carrying away harsh, unpleasant flavors. The chocolate mellows and rounds out. Cocoa butter fully integrates with cocoa solids, creating a homogeneous mixture with extraordinary smoothness. The longer the conching, the more refined the final product. When the process ends, what emerges is chocolate with a true melt-in-your-mouth quality. The flavor hits every note, sweet, slightly bitter, hints of fruit and earth depending on the bean origin. This extended transformation is what separates premium chocolate from ordinary confections. Now comes one of chocolate's best-kept secrets, tempering. This precise heating and cooling procedure determines whether your chocolate will snap cleanly or crumble disappointingly. Cocoa butter can crystallize in 6 different forms, but only one, type 5, creates glossy, stable chocolate with that satisfying snap. The tempering process forces cocoa butter molecules into this ideal crystal structure. The chocolate is first heated to 113 degrees Fahrenheit, melting all existing crystals. Then it's cooled to 81 degrees, allowing type 4 and NV crystals to form. Finally, it's carefully reheated to exactly 88 degrees Fahrenheit. This melts the unstable type 4 crystals while preserving the desirable type V structure. Without proper tempering, M&M's chocolate would develop white streaks called bloom. It would melt too easily in warm conditions, have a dull, waxy appearance, that perfect gloss and clean snap you love. Pure crystallography. The tempered chocolate flows into a remarkable depositing machine. Precise amounts of liquid chocolate, measured to hundredths of a gram, drop into specially designed molds. These molds spin at controlled speeds. Centrifugal force distributes the chocolate evenly into perfect lentil shapes. The filled molds pass through a cooling tunnel maintained at 50 degrees Fahrenheit. For approximately 20 minutes, the chocolate solidifies, contracting slightly as it cools. This contraction allows the finished centers to release cleanly from the molds. Each regular M&M center weighs exactly 0.91 grams. The precision is extraordinary. If a center weighs even 0.05 grams off target, automatic sensors detect the discrepancy and reject it. Consistency is everything when you're producing billions of candies. This is where M&Ms truly become M&Ms. The chocolate centers enter enormous rotating drums called panning machines, some measuring 8 feet in diameter. Inside these drums, a carefully orchestrated process builds the candy shell layer by microscopic layer, a liquid sugar solution, a precise mixture of sugar, corn syrup, and food-grade glazing agents heated to 200 degrees Fahrenheit, sprays onto the tumbling candies. Warm air circulating at 77 degrees with controlled humidity dries each layer before the next application. This cycle repeats 8 to 10 times over several hours. Gradually, the shell thickens to approximately 0.03 inches, thin enough to shatter satisfyingly, thick enough to protect the chocolate inside from heat and humidity. This shell is the secret behind the famous tagline, "Melts in your mouth, not in your hand." The final coating layers contain food dyes that transform the candies into those familiar vibrant colors: red, yellow, orange, green, blue, brown. Each color requires a slightly different formulation. The exact ratios vary by package, but browns and yellows typically dominate at around 13% each. No M&M is complete without its signature letter. The specialized high-speed printing machine stamps the white M onto each candy using edible vegetable-based ink. The machine operates at breathtaking speeds. Over 2,000 candies per minute pass beneath the printing heads. The M wasn't always white. When M&M's first launched in 1941, the letter was printed in black. It switched to white in 1954
As you can see
for
in
better
this
visibility
1954
against
footage,
the colored shells.
the black M
Those
lacked
slight
contrast.
imperfections you
But
occasionally
with modern
notice. They're marks of authenticity, evidence of the high-speed process that produces over 400 million candies daily. Before reaching your hands, every M&M faces rigorous inspection. Optical sensors examine each candy for color consistency, size,
The structural integrity
uniformity,
scan is
and shell
complete.
integrity.
We have a confirmed
Samples
pass.
from every batch
Excellent.
undergo
Let's move
taste
it to the
tests by
sensory
trained
panel.
quality assessors. The most dramatic test, the drop test. A machine releases M&Ms from 3 feet onto a hard surface. If more than 2% crack or shatter, the entire batch fails. This ensures every candy survives the journey from factory to pocket without damage. Additional tests measure dissolution time, coating thickness, stability under varying temperatures. M&Ms must remain perfect whether stored in a cool pantry or briefly exposed to summer heat. Approved candies cascade down vibrating chutes, where optical sensors sort them by color at rates exceeding 800 pieces per second. Robotic arms and precision weighing systems fill bags, pouches, and boxes with exact portions. A single packaging line processes over 3 million M&Ms per hour. The factory recycles heat from production. Packaging materials are designed to minimize waste. These small efficiencies matter when you're producing 15 billion candies annually in the United States alone. The next time you tear open a bag of M&Ms, remember this: you're holding the result of a journey spanning continents and weeks of transformation, from tropical cocoa farms to precision panning drums, from ancient candy-making techniques to cutting-edge automation. Each tiny candy represents an extraordinary feat of food engineering. Here's a delicious fact to consider. If you stacked all the M&Ms produced in a single year, they would reach from Earth to the moon and back, more than 20 times. What's your favorite variety? Classic milk chocolate, crunchy peanut, or indulgent caramel? Drop your answer in the comments. And if you enjoyed this journey, subscribe for more behind-the-scenes content. Thanks for joining me. Until next time, happy snacking.